welcome to this episode of YouTube. I'd like to thank Linda Young for sending in some questions about pack dynamics, specifically about some things that I stated on explore.org about especially Axel not having a very nurturing personality. And, he's obviously a functioning member of the pack. We certainly see him as part of the group, but he just doesn't have the same kind of relationship that Grayson does. And so her question is, what would his role be in the wild if he was a wild pack member instead of in a human-centered environment where we kind of try to balance things out and care for them? And I think what's important to note is that in the wild, certainly, first of all, survival would be challenging. If Axel's away and not being maybe as an aligned pack member would have impacted his ability to get food or to share food or to be successful in hunting. There's as much as 50% mortality that may occur with young pups. And if they do get to be, a little bit older, and typically, again, a pack in the wild is different than a pack in a captive environment because a pack in the wild is parents and their offspring. And if food resources were stressed or you weren't compatible, that you might disperse. And anywhere from, let's say, between a year, 1 or 2 years of age, at any one time, 5 to 25% of the population disperses, looks for a mate, tries to find a territory and start a new pack and become a dominant leader of their own pack. Is Axel's personality similar to that of any past IWC wolves? And how does the interplay of this pack's member compare to past packs? I would say that we have a very similar circumstance between Axel and Grayson as we did with Shadow and Malik. Malik was an opportunistic second ranking to his brother Shadow. Shadow was the calmer of the two. Shadow was the more timid of the two pups. He was the more watchful. He was, definitely one that welcomed the other pack members into the group and was caregiving towards the pups and was the leader, became the leader of the pack. So I see a lot of similarities between Axel and Malik. So the next question is, Kaz has a pretty forceful personality, in-your-face personality. He's getting big and bigger. And I just want to remind you that Denali had a very similar personality. Denali and Kaz are so similar in so many ways. So the question is, even though that Kaz is submitting to Axel and Grayson right now because he's a pup, as he matures and starts testing, how will that relate to Axel and Grayson, especially if those tests become more serious and, again, even with Blackstone being a little bit more timid. So I think it's important to recognize that how the relationship of Grayson is being formed right now is relying a lot on social behavior and a lot of social alliance. Dominance and pinning is not how you win points. And I think a lot of times humans have this mistaken idea of dominance and domineering. Domineering is the way humans think, is you're putting somebody down and putting them down and you're winning because you're powerful over them. I think Grayson is demonstrating that he's making alliances that may prove to have a greater strength in those times of testing. And the last thing is, again, about Rika. Even though Rika defends the pups, she still acts like one of them herself. And the question is her future relationship with the pups. And I want to remind everyone that wolf maturity is typically 18 to 24 months. Rika is acting like a pup because she is a pup. She is not expected to have the mature kind of social bonding behavior that we have witnessed in some of our younger wolves in the past. It's not her time. And as she matures, she is going to likely pair bond with somebody. Whether that be Kaz or not is up to her, and it will be something that's going to play out here. But I always want to recognize that this is on wolf terms. This is how wolves interact, and we can't apply human emotions, and we can't say anyone's bad or good based on what's happening. And it is the training of the wolf care team to be able to watch these behaviors, interpret these behaviors, and make sure that everyone is meeting their needs, not just physical, but also psychological. So hopefully that helps address some of the questions, and we'll keep you posted, and again, try to continue to offer insight when we see things on explore.org or we see things on our own channel. We also will have a webinar on December 21st, the Winter Solstice webinar, where we can be fielding questions. If you want to bring some questions to the webinar, by all means, we'll be happy to answer them. So thanks for watching.